Let's make a cute Halloween bowl for under $10. Hi, and welcome back to my craft room. My name is Kelsey. I also call myself Dinosaur Mama, and today we're making, I would say it's sort of a Pottery Barn dupe. So I have here the photo of the bowl I kind of got the idea from, and they sell theirs for $110 on clearance. I cannot afford that kind of clearance, so I decided to make my own for under $10. So the skeleton itself is from the Dollar Tree, and then the bowl is as well. They had put out these cute little bowls for Halloween. And then I bought a can of spray paint from Walmart, and you're just gonna need some hot glue after that. So for 10 bucks, you can make a cute little candy bowl that you could place out for Halloween. All right, let's get started in building him. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove that sticker from the bottom of the Dollar Tree bin. You really can use any bin that you want. You can even use a bowl if you have it. I just went with this because they were over by where all the Halloween stuff was, and I liked the shape of it. I know it doesn't look anything like the one from Pottery Barn, but I did think it was really cute. Now you saw here, there is the top of the skeleton because these are meant to be hung, and I just cut off as much as I could without making a hole in the top of the skeleton head. So they have like a little hook, I guess you could call it, or like a circle. And I just used my scissors to get rid of it. And now I'm going to grab some sandpaper and I'm going to sand that down. Now this is optional. You absolutely do not have to do this, but I just grabbed a little square and sanded down as much as I could. So I'm going to place my skeleton on the side where the writing is. That way it's covered up there and then it'll be covered up with the spray paint. And I did try this with super glue first. I wanted to go that route with super glue, but it just wouldn't stick on. I don't know if it's the type of plastic or not, or the super glue that I was using, but I decided to go with hot glue and it worked just fine. And it was really easy to stick it on and make sure it was secure. So what I learned through this whole process is use your hand on the inside of the bucket. It will get hot. So just prepare yourself and don't burn yourself. And I made sure that he was sitting flat, and I pressed his chest up to the back of the bucket. And then here I just added a little hot glue underneath his head so that it wouldn't like bob around. I guess this is also optional. You can keep it loose if you want to, but I just wanted him to kind of look forward. So what I did here was I glued that, and then his chest was glued, but his legs were not glued so that we could move those apart once we were ready. Now, here is where it starts to get a little bit difficult, and you're just going to have a lot of patience because the arms are real stiff at the shoulders, you would say, because it's not obviously like the best quality hinges here from our Dollar Tree skeleton. But I am going to glue his hands and his forearm, like from where his elbow would be, down to the side of the bucket. So at first I was just trying to do his hands, and there was a lot of trial and error here. And I thought that that would work and he would stick, but you definitely need to glue that forearm as well to the side of the bucket. My biggest takeaway here is just patience in holding it, because you really have to wait for that hot glue to completely dry before you move on to the next step, or it will start to peel apart and then eventually it will just pull off. Now, once you spray paint it, I think that definitely like solidifies it to the bucket. However, you need to have it secured on before you even get to that step, or you're just going to have hanging bones everywhere. Now, the next part is to snap off the bottom part of the leg at where the knee would be. My son makes this look so easy when he has these, and he gets them every Halloween. Those bones come apart so easily for him. I don't know what my problem was. I was on the struggle bus. Now, what I'm going to say here is you should cut those little nubs off now before you glue. I learned the hard way. Again, I do all of the mistakes for you so that you don't have to do them. Cut those little nubs off of where the knees were now so that they're not in the way when you go to glue on the legs. And I did this because, again, they don't bend properly if they are attached. So you want to detach them, and then we're going to glue on the bones separately. So you'll see those little nubs right at the bottom of the knee. Cut them off with a pair of scissors. They are very difficult to cut off. So I put the hot glue down like you saw, and now I realized here, like I need to be pressing down on the inside so that it is attaching to that leg bone. So you want to press in from the inside. Again, it's going to be hot. It's hot glue to make sure that it's attaching in. And I really spread out the legs pretty wide so that it would kind of go out to the outward side of the bucket. And so we're going to glue these two separate apart, like he's doing almost like a split. And then we are going to glue the other bones the opposite way. So again, take your time, allow this to dry. That is the biggest takeaway. You just have to be patient with this. You can also like I don't know, the bucket from Pottery Barn has the chest kind of pouring over, so you see more of the skeleton. Like I said, you can always get a smaller bowl, or you could even like kind of place him higher up rather than have him the way that I have him. This is more just for inspiration rather than like a full tutorial, I would say. But I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there. And so now I'm going in with the other side and I'm putting the glue down. The other thing I would say is like you can slightly lift up the bone and then place the glue down, because I found it hard to know exactly where the glue was supposed to be. And it would probably have been easier if I like slightly raised it while I had it in the right position and placed the glue underneath. So I'm holding it down on the inside and I'm going to allow this to dry. And this is when I started fiddling around after with where to place this other bone. So you see that I cut the little nubs off so that way that the second part of the bone would lie flat. And you really want these kind of close to the edge, and you absolutely do not want those feet to overlap or your bucket's going to be uneven. So they have to lay like almost like your feet are touching. So it's not crisscross applesauce. It's like more, I don't even know, like a butterfly position, like when you're doing yoga. I'm trying to think of that, if that's the right name. I know that's what we called it when we were in elementary school. So the feet are touching, they are not overlapping. And you want that to happen because if they overlap, and this was, again, trial and error, your bucket's going to be uneven and it's going to wibble wobble. Is that right? Okay. So I'm putting the glue down, and then I am going to, again, hold it from the inside so that it secures to the bone. And then once this is dry, you can, if you want to, glue the feet like to each other so they don't move around a ton. I just kind of place them inside of each other so they stop moving, but you can definitely glue it together. And then once this is ready to go, we can start spray painting. So this is the Krylon like metallic in, I think it's just silver. It might be aluminum. The link will be down below for the proper Krylon metallic spray paint. I couldn't believe how shiny this was. Yeah, like incredible. And so I went over this pretty much with only one coat when I was doing the top of it. And then I did decide to flip it over and do the bottom, which was smart because then I was able to see that like the back of the skeleton, like the bottom of the head really wasn't covered. So I definitely suggest doing the bottom too so that you really cover everything. So it covered with one coat too. I didn't have to go back and do another coat on the top. So this is a really great spray paint if you decide to go with this brand. Just super impressed with it, and I loved the way it came out. Now this is super optional. I had some metallic black acrylic paint, and so I just went over like where, it kind of goes in to make a little bit of a shadow. I don't think it made that big of a difference, but I did decide to do it. So I did it on like the nose, the teeth, some of the bones on the hands, the eyes. But again, totally optional. And the spray paint dried within like 30 minutes. So this was overall like not the longest project, but I love the way it came out. And it's a perfect candy bowl. I would not put like fresh fruit in this or any sort of ice. So just keep that in mind when you're using it. You did put spray paint onto it, so it is not food safe unless it's like a wrapped candy. Thank you for joining me as we made the cute little skeleton bowl. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know down in the comments what you thought of this, if I could do anything different, if you did anything different. I just always am open to interpretation, and if you want to see more things like this, please let me know. These are my favorite kind of crafts. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for new crafty videos, and share this with one of your friends who needs a fun craft for Halloween. I will see you soon in my craft room, and stay crafty.